Well, here is the natural jar that I found last week. I was unable to go panning the one day because the place I go was closed down for lottery deer hunters. Should be over here soon, I would think, and then I can hopefully get back. So I did some scouting, trying to find some other places not too far from my area where I could try to find some gold. It was really freaking cold that day, so I didn't actually do anything. I did like one single test pan, took me about a minute. I didn't find nothing, and my fingers were froze. So I said to hell with it, and I just started walking a creek that I found. It was a really nice creek. It looks pretty promising. And there was a part of the bank around a hard turn. It was eroding into the bank really, really bad. And there was a really gravelly area little ways up the bank. And I seen this. I don't know, it was kind of like, I think it was buried kind of like that. And I could see this partial rim. It just stood out. So I dug it out of the ground. And I realized it is like a natural jar. I'm pretty positive this is not man-made, just because of it's not perfectly round. Nothing about it is perfect. Yeah, it has this really, really flat spot, but that could just be because it sat on something. I'm guessing there was some kind of piece of organic matter that maybe got buried a long time ago. When I say a long time ago, this would have taken thousands, hundreds of thousands of years probably to make. It would have got buried, and the material surrounding it started to turn into a rock. And then whatever was on the inside was either softer, so it eroded out, or it decayed and just decomposed away. Regardless, it's cool as shit. I brought it home. It had this hairline crack across the bottom when I found it. And I brought it home. And when I was trying to rinse it out in the sink, I had my finger down inside of it, and I was kind of going back and forth trying to rinse out the clay and the gravel and the dirt. And when I was doing that, I think I pushed too hard on the bottom, and I split it open. I separated the crack all the way. That doesn't change the fact that it's really cool. It did just kind of ruin it a little bit, though, unfortunately, because as you can see, yeah, it's no longer solid. But I didn't make this. I don't believe people. I don't think it's man-made. I'm pretty positive this is natural. Really cool, really cool. So this is just some of the stuff that I have found over the past couple of years. Several of these I found that same day in that creek that I found this.
Wait, Daddy.
Yeah, don't mess with that. If you drop it, you'll break it. You want to help me?
Yeah.
What do you want to? Okay, what do you want to say about that?
Rubber rock.
It's a rock. It is.
Let me help you rubber rock.
You love the rock?
Yeah.
Where'd Daddy find that rock?
Up a Tiki Mountain.
Up on Chicken Mountain. What?
Mountain.
On a big mountain?
Yeah.
No, kind of. I mean, it is a hill. You do actually remember that. You got to climb up a hill a good ways, follow the creek up the hill.
Okay.
That's where I found that.
Yeah, me.
I found it in a creek. Just don't drop it, okay? It's very fragile. That'll probably break. Okay, now let Daddy finish talking here, okay?
Okay.
But anyway, so these are some of the things I found in that same creek. This was really cool. It reminds me of like an asteroid or a meteor fragment, but I do not believe it is. I YouTubed it, Googled it, looked up some stuff, and I don't believe it's actually an asteroid or asteroid fragment or meteorite fragment.
Daddy.
I mean, it does have the qualities of it, though, except for, they said,
Daddy.
Elizabeth,
About a rock?
I said to please let me finish, okay?
Okay.
Let Daddy talk here. You go ahead and you play with them rocks, but let me talk, okay? What was I saying? It's very metallic-y. It's very metal-like.
I need to do it too. I need to do it. I need to do it too.
Okay, you can do it too, but I'm just trying to let them hear the sound that it makes. Okay, don't smack everything though. Some things will break. Okay, you did it too now. Don't smack nothing else. You'll break some of the stuff. But anyway, so I don't know what this is. It's probably nothing other than the fact that it's just kind of cool. It's probably worthless. Regardless, I like it. I'm keeping it. It's rather heavy. It's very irony. I took a somewhat powerful magnet to it, and I couldn't find any spots that was actually magnetic. It's all pockmarked and porous, and that was one of the things, one of the videos I watched about trying to identify a meteorite. They said it's not actually going to look like that. It's not going to be all pockmarked and porous and stuff. It'll kind of be more solid. Then again, I don't know. I could be wrong. That guy might not know what the hell he's talking about. No, that is fragile. That you will break. It's why it's already broken. But, so yeah. There are a couple. I did break some chunks off of it. Just out of curiosity. Those two smaller chunks I broke off, I'm going to crush them. Just out of curiosity and see what I find. But, yeah, I mean, it's very irony, whatever it is. So, and like I said, it's rather heavy. So that I found in the same creek as the jar. And here I just found a fossil. Yeah, you find these everywhere. I don't think they're all that spectacular. I mean, this one, it's got a rather big seashell. I believe that is one solid seashell. Both sides of the same seashell, I should say. And bunches of other stuff. Little, I don't know what these are. Tube worms, coral, something, but it's a cool fossil. Found that in the same creek. Yep, found that in the same creek. And then I also found this rock. Now, this one doesn't look all that special, but it's very heavy. It stood out from all the others. Like when I found it, especially when it's wet. Yeah, when it's wet, I could see it clear as day sitting at the bottom amongst all the other rocks. This thing stood out like a sore thumb. It was really, really cool. As you can see, the water, most of the rocks I have do not look that awesome. When they were wet in the creek, they looked a lot cooler. Something about getting them wet, it really brings out their appearance. So, yeah, you see, it looks a lot cooler when it's wet. It's real bumpy. I don't know what it is. Little pieces of quartz and all kinds of other stuff, I think, in there. I don't believe that's actually quartz. I don't know what that is. I'm not a geologist. I would like to go to college and learn a little bit about some geology. I'm trying to teach myself. I watch a crap ton of videos, but there is so much to learn. It's so complicated. And there's like 1,000 different types of rocks I can find. Dolomite, and that's about all I can remember. I don't believe that is any. I don't know what that is. But anyways, yeah, I found this one in that same creek. Once again, doesn't look all that special right now, but when you get it wet, when it was wet, stood out a lot more. It has these. I believe that is quartz running through them, but it runs like clear through them. I mean, that's one part of it, and that's the other part, and it's like a tube. I can just tell by, I found another rock like this, that's how I know this. But, I mean, it's really cool. Pretty cool rock. I know, rocks. So awesome. It's a rock. Some of the things that I think are cool might be pretty lame. I don't know, but I think they're cool. So that was it. That's what I found in that one creek last week. All of these. These are other things I have found throughout the years. I found this key, the place that I like to find my gold at. Oh, Yeah, no, that came from same creek. I don't know if this is old or not. It kind of looks old. I mean, just because it's a little rusty doesn't necessarily mean it's old. It sat down in the creek. But there's some other things that kind of tell me New Age stuff is usually made pretty perfectly. And the end of this, you know, it doesn't appear perfect. It doesn't really look like it was made in a mold or a casting. It almost looks as though it was blacksmithed, I believe would be the way to say it, which that's a much older style. It probably isn't. I am not that kind of a lucky person to find stuff like that. Then again, maybe I am. I don't know. I don't know. That's just really cool. It's an old skeleton key. This was some kind of a fossil. I don't know. It stood out from everything else. It's got these lines in it that extrude from the rock. It's just really cool. I believe it's natural. I don't think it's anything man-made. Once again, nature can do some pretty incredible things. But yeah, so that was really cool. This is just a piece of sandstone, but it's the shape. I don't ever. You just don't see them in this shape. It's oblonged. Fits rather nice in the hand. It is possible, even though it doesn't look like anything, it is very possible that this may be some kind of an artifact, like an Indian artifact or whatnot, just because of its shape. They don't really naturally shape themselves like this. It's sandstone, and I know they, stuff like that was used a lot back in the day. It could have been used as some kind of a hammer. They could have used it as an abrasive. First they would have had to have shaped it like this. I'm guessing probably get it to fit nicely in your hand. And then they could have used it to like scratch notches into things, or I don't know. I mean, I'm not an archaeologist. I just know that this is not common to find it in this shape. That's what made it stand out. Kiddo, get the rock out of your mouth and don't put that in your mouth. It's dirty. They came from a creek. I did not wash them. Okay?
Okay.
And they're kind of old now. You should be fine, but there's another thing. This is a steel ball bearing.
I need this.
No, you don't need it. Just because I grabbed it doesn't mean you need it. Then again, I don't. Well, I mean, once again, it's another one of them things I'm not sure of. Usually, steel ball bearings are made of stainless steel, and they do not rust. They stay nice and shiny. So this is actually just an iron ball. It's a almost perfectly round iron ball. I don't like to assume. And whatever I say any of these things might be, I mean, they're just a guess of mine. It's just a guess. Leave the key alone. You can play with the key. I don't think you can hurt that. I don't know what pumpkin balls look like from the old days when they had like muzzle loaders and stuff. I don't know, the early 1800s, 1700s. I feel like it's about the right size. Might be a little too big. I didn't think they were this big. This is pretty big. Then again, possibly. I don't know. I'm not a ancient arms expert. But, I mean, that's kind of what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like an old-time pumpkin ball. I don't think they had stainless steel back then. They had iron. Just raw iron. So, I don't know. That's pretty cool. Something else I found. And this I found a few years ago before I was actually even panning for gold. I found it at work. I was working for a landscaping company, and we was doing some work in a West Virginia creek. We had to build a retaining wall because the creek was, oh, we had to build what's called a gabion wall. It was, the creek was eroding away the bank where a massive telephone pole stood, and it was compromising the structural integrity of that telephone pole. So we had to come in and build a massive gabion wall. In the process, we basically played around in a creek all day with a frickin' bulldozer and a backhoe. It was really cool. We moved a lot of stuff around. And unfortunately, this got ran over by one of the pieces of equipment and it broke it. But I believe it's just a normal rock. Nothing special. I don't think it's man-made. I think it just naturally eroded this way. But I thought it was really cool because it is super, what's the word, symmetrical. I mean, it's almost like a domino. You know, it's nice and evenly thick. It's nice and rectangular. It is a little oblonged in this rectangular shape. I mean, it's not perfectly flat. Kind of, the edges are slanted. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Found that a couple years ago. Hey, no more tapping stuff. You'll break things. Like I said, when I found it, it was already, I found pieces. They were sitting probably like that. I found it side by side. Obviously, you can tell it is this. Oh, see, I'm chipping away pieces of my stuff by trying to. It's hard to do this with one hand. Trying to hold the camera and do all this with one hand, but I mean, it does fit together. Yeah, see, I just broke that piece off right there. I'm ruining my stuff even more. Yeah, so anyways, okay, so that's cool. That's cool. This is just a pretty rock I found. This would be at my gold-bearing creek. Yeah, nice pretty rock. I find tons of these. It's really not that special. I don't know how it wound up in here. Okay, no more. I'm going to show the rest of this stuff. It's not yours, kiddo. It's all my stuff. It's mine. You're going to break things.
Me don't want big things.
Alright, this was pretty cool. This is not natural. I am pretty sure this was man-made. I have been unable to find it anymore. I need the perfect lighting. This thing needs to be the perfect amount of wetness. But when I first found this, it has a fingerprint in it somewhere. Somewhere it has a fingerprint in it. This camera is probably never going to be able to see it. I could barely see it with my own eye. So I know the camera's not going to be able to pick it up. But I believe I think it's an Indian artifact. I don't know what it would be for, what it would be used for. But I think they took a piece of clay and they put it in their hands. Now, I don't have both hands, but I believe they rolled their hands together, rolled it into this shape. And then once they rolled it, I believe they grabbed it and like put it in a fire to harden it. And that's how the fingerprint was put in it. Like I said, I can barely see it with my own eye. I know the camera's not going to be able to pick it up, but it has a fingerprint in it. It was really cool. This is just a rock. But it was in a unique shape. Once again, like I said, you don't find rocks in this shape too often. Usually they get crushed and broken when they get long and skinny like that. So that was pretty cool. So I just kept that. Nice rock. This is a purple one. It's hard to see. Piece of quartz. Found this in the creek where I find all my gold. And obviously, I don't find purple rocks very often. It's not very purple, but I mean, it's like a light lavender, light purple color. Which is why I kept it. Like I said, once in a blue moon, I find rocks this color. Usually they come in a variety of many other colors, so this was pretty rare to me. And this, obviously, this is an arrowhead. I found this arrowhead in the same creek that I found this and this. And that was it. These are what I found in that creek in West Virginia when we was building that gabion wall. Found all three of these. Surprisingly, as much time as I spend in the creek, this is the only arrowhead I have ever found while doing what I do for a living. Prospecting, looking for gold. I spend a lot of time out in the woods, in the creeks. I'm surprised I have not found more. But this is the only one. So, regardless, nice find. Not got a perfect tip on it anymore, but it's in pretty good shape. So, that obviously guaranteed is an Indian artifact. So, I think that was about it. Yeah, okay. So, that's good enough for now. It's a 20-minute video. I know most people probably won't even watch this far into it, but just a little bit about some of the cool stuff I have found. I have found a ton of other cool stuff. That's as much as I'm going to show for now, though, because 20 minutes just to talk about all that. So, good enough. Alright, well, thank you for watching. If you did watch all the way this far, I appreciate it.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, kiddo, very, very much. Subscribers are much appreciated. It takes nothing to press that subscribe button. I will try to improve the quality of my content, make more content, and I'll do my best to keep getting out there and finding cool stuff.
I need to hug you.
Thank you, and have a nice day.
I need to hug you.